Let's imagine humans were as big as insects. What would the world look like and how would our society change? Would it even be possible for us to still be the predominant life form on the planet? Would environmental conditions allow us to survive? And last but not least, how would this difference in size affect people's future lives? Let us find out together, today and here on Let's Imagine. Please consider subscribing, it's free, it's easy, and you're signed up to see more imaginational craziness. Let's say an average insect is 12 mm or half an inch in size. Compared to the average size of humans, that is 1.7 meters or 67 inches, that is a huge difference. According to National Geographic, the entire world's population could fit into 1,300 square miles or 3,400 square kilometers, if they would stand shoulder to shoulder. That is roughly the size of Greater Los Angeles. Shrunk to the size of insects, humanity would fit into just about 9 square miles or 23 square kilometers, which is not even half the size of Manhattan. The area that we humans occupy on this earth would therefore become much smaller. On the one hand, we would need much less resources, and on the other hand, we would produce much less waste. Generally speaking, the impact we humans have on this world would become much smaller too. But would we still have the possibility to live a normal life as we know it? At this point, we need to distinguish whether all the other life forms would shrink the same way that we would, or stay the same size as they are in reality. As far as we can include a scientific point of view in this consideration, due to the theory of evolution, other species would probably be smaller just as well. From a biological point of view, the shrinking of species to this extent is not possible. The physique and the organs of, for example, mammals, are not designed to be that small. So the explanation why it would be that little has to be another one. Possibly it would work with technical aids. Just think of some kind of suit to wear. Another option would be a chemical drug that would produce the same result. But to ease the tension a little bit, there are no scientific approaches for either of the two possibilities so far, and probably will not be in any near future. This is why we have to consider them as given. So let's just assume it would be possible. We would need all kind of safety precautions to protect us from both environmental influences and interactions with other species. Even insects, which would then be the same size as we are, would be a threat. Not to mention other large animals like elephants, cats or snakes. Rain would feel like a tsunami. Simple snowfall in winter would be the equivalent of a short-lived ice age. And a heat wave in summer would threaten our lives in many other ways than it does now. Leaving all these dangers aside, however, the size changes could also bring many opportunities. We could get a better understanding of the microcosm. In fact, the understanding of microcosm and macrocosm would change completely, as our view of this world would change. We could find easier ways to travel far distances on land and in the long term in space. For example, rockets would need to be much less powerful, as the required payloads would shrink drastically too. We could completely rely on renewable resource, as our energy consumption would decrease as well. The electricity needed in general to keep life going would be much less. For example, a city like New York needs 11,000 megawatt hours of electricity in just one day, divided by the factor of 142, which is the factor of how many times we would be smaller. New York would need the same amount as 77 single homes would do in 1 year. Another example that could be interpreted in the same way is the water crisis or problems with shortage of food, as we no longer had to care about how much fresh water we are using or how much food a country needed. Both of them could regenerate fast enough to never have a shortage again. Generally speaking, we would have a lot of opportunities that are almost endless. The technical feasibility alone of shrinking a human being would involve countless eventualities. What we can say though is that we need to take all these facts into consideration. The rest is up for your imagination. How would you imagine a world in which humans were as big as insects? Let us know in the comments. Please like the video and consider subscribing.